Hi, and welcome to Charlotte Talks Transformers, where we'll be taking a look at Transformers Animated Season 2, Episode 4, Garbage In, Garbage Out. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say, guys. Oh my goodness. This episode was weird. It was freaking weird. The plot there was no plot. It was weird. It was just like, from beginning to end, oh my goodness. So, Weird Al. Like, that's basically all you gotta know. Anyone that knows Transformers Animated knows this episode. It's, I think, fairly famous-ish if you know Transformers Animated, where Weird Al plays Wreck-Gar, and he dares to be stupid, and it was fucking amazing. Okay, there was a plot, but it was so, like, it was weird, guys. Like, okay, it sort of starts off on, like, a reasonably, sane note, where I guess all the garbage bots in the city were malfunctioning, and something mayoral contracts or city contracts with Sumdac Industries, and that Powell guy that is, like, he's evil and he kicks Sari out of her home. He has a plan to make nanobots that are gonna, like, or microbots, nanobots, I can't remember which, but he has a plan to use these little bots to break down garbage so that he can sell it for a fraction of the price of what Professor Sumdac was selling the garbage bots for. Actually, this is kind of complicated. Yeah, so he has this, like, plan to make money off of the garbage that's piling up around the city, and the Autobots are currently working as essentially garbage bots, but they quickly, like, this isn't even really about the Autobots, this episode. It's really about Ratchet and his bad personality, which I'm gonna say right off the bat right now, I found a little out of character. They make him out to be, like, a huge asshole. Like, he's just saying mean things and doing mean things, and he's being grumpy, and I know that's kind of his character, but for the sake of this episode, I feel like they really went to 11 with him and his being, like, a total jerk. So, Ratchet's being his general unpleasant self, and the rest of the Autobots decide, okay, he really needs sort of like someone to show him how to be nice, you know? And so they all unanimously decide that it's gonna be Bumblebee and Sari that shows him, like, I guess, how to be a decent guy. In amongst this, there is an Allspark shard, like, sort of signal, I guess, and the Decepticons pick up on it, and Sari kind of picks up on it, and I don't know if it was Wreck-Gar, but I think it was, but then at the end of the episode, they never bother recovering any sort of Allspark shard, so, but anyways, out of a garbage heap comes Wreck-Gar, and he doesn't really know who he is, so he's trying to find out who he is, so he's, like, going into the city of Detroit, and he's trying to find the police, because he's like, oh, police are here to help me find out who I am. And, okay, guys, this was the weirdest part of the episode, and that's saying a lot for this episode, but you remember in that one episode, all the way back, where I was all like, there's a weird Robin Hood fellow, and he speaks in really weird old-timey English, and he just shows up at the beginning of the episode and then never shows up again. He's, like, almost a main character in this episode. Well, partially a main character. Like, he calls himself the Angry Archer, and he just shows up randomly and kind of convinces Wreck-Gar, well, who you are or who you should be is, like, a thief or something. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of these episodes that makes not a goddamn lick of sense, guys. Okay, so that guy shows up, and I'm gonna say right now, he's fairly inconsequential. Not a lot happens with him. He's just, like, one step in Wreck-Gar's journey of self-discovery. So Wreck-Gar briefly becomes a thief with the Angry Archer, and then Sari and Bumblebee and Ratchet are on the trail of Wreck-Gar, whom they think is an Allspark shard, and they come across a couple, and there's a pregnant woman, and she's about to give birth, and they call them Spike and Carly, and I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Like, you've got Weird Al as Wreck-Gar, you've got Spike and Carly, you've got the Angry Archer, like, whoa, they were just packing it in this episode, and I'm sure 100% sure I must have even missed some references, because there was some stuff that kind of flew a little bit over my head, but like reference city, man. So at this point, Wreck-Gar decides he wants to be an Autobot, and he just pulls like an Autobot badge out of the garbage on his back, and he's like, I'm an Autobot hero. But then Ratchet is mean to him. He's like, you're only good for one thing, and that's garbage. And then Lugnut goes and finds him, and then Wreck-Gar is like, okay, I'm a bad guy, I want to be a Decepticon. So he pulls a Decepticon badge out of his garbage heap and he puts it on, and I'm like, what is happening? And then Lugnut gets microbots on him, and Wreck-Gar performs a mid-air amputation on him, and guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. So yeah, this episode was weird, and it basically ends where Wreck-Gar realizes he wants to be a hero, and he kind of saves the day with a giant effing vacuum cleaner, guys. I don't know. There's a boat, and the boat is filled with these microbots, and it turns out they're ravenous and they eat everything and they're out of control, and it's on a boat and it's heading towards the city of Detroit, and Ratchet and Wreck-Gar are the only people that can stop it, and Wreck-Gar saves the day with a giant vacuum cleaner that he pulls out of the garbage on his back. And Ratchet learns to be nice, because for a minute there it looks like Wreck-Gar is going to turn evil, and then Ratchet apologizes, and that kickstarts Wreck-Gar into being good again. And then Wreck-Gar sort of like falls into the ocean, and it looks like he's dead, but then at the end of the episode he's still alive, and he's trapped under the ocean, and oh, whoa. It was a great episode, guys. Watch it. Just, even if you never watch another episode of Transformers Animated, this one is so weird and just so full of just random, okay, Wreck-Gar dares to be stupid, and they include that line, and it's great. I really can't say enough good things about this episode, because you can tell they didn't care. No one cared about this episode. They're just like, we're gonna throw in Spike and Carly. Yeah, we're gonna throw in Wreck-Gar, and let's have him be voiced by Bloody Weird Al, and let's make Ratchet a douchebag, and the Angry Archer, bring him in too. Like, whoa. I'm honestly stunned. I managed to cover all of that, because I was sitting there watching the episode, and I'm like, how am I gonna talk about this? It is so, like, random and disjointed and weird, but at the same time, it actually had a kind of complicated plot going on, and I'm gonna stop talking. There's not a whole lot more to say about this episode, but watch it. And Weird Al, I love you, man. Like, everything you do is magic, and I'm a big fan of yours. You're probably never gonna see this review, but you rock, man. Anyways, goodbye. Oh, please leave a comment, subscribe. I would love to hear from you. Goodbye, everyone.
I am Wreck-Gar. I dare to be stupid.